It is Tuesday, and it's always a great day when the Red Sox win the night before. If you stayed up, kudos to you. I did not. I watched a little bit of it, then I did the replay. I have the app, the Red Sox Nesson 360 app, so I was able to rewatch it this morning. And also, I need to show all of you this, and I think I've talked about it before. The stats portal that I have access to, it's MLB Stat Portal that the big league broadcasters use, the big league media relations. We're all under one umbrella. So when I do games for the Woo Sox, we have access to the same portal, which has live pitch by pitch. It is unbelievable. For our games, it's the same as the big leagues. When a pitch is thrown, it tells us exactly all of the advanced metrics through the Hawkeye technology. So a pitch is thrown, it'll say 96, fastball, and then all of the things that come with it. But also, I can go into every single play and rewatch the game. I can watch every pitch, but every play is broken down with video. And it's all archived through back to 2019. Dorky stuff, but cool stuff. All right, I'm Mike Antonellis. Welcome to another episode. We're getting close to 130 episodes of Red Sox Now, as always presented by FanArch here on the good old YouTube, which now has football. How about that? Last Friday, football, Chiefs and Chargers. It's pretty cool. I was watching it at Polar Park while I was broadcasting the games. Before we go any further, if you could help us climb to 1,800 subscribers, we're 1,759. That's what I'm going to say. And leave your comments, which are fantastic. We had over 1,000 views yesterday. Some days we have 100 comments. 96 are mine. And I'll try to get through all your comments throughout the day. All right. I got a big morning. Working out, I got to do that. But I'm having breakfast with Bill Ballou. I don't know if any of you know Bill. He's covered the Red Sox since 1987. He's got incredible stories. I will definitely interview him in the off season. I'm going to try to do an interview show with baseball in the off season because I think that's a better time to talk to people. It's hard in season. I try to get the broadcasters, Dave O'Brien, Will Fleming, and try to do as much as that. But Bill, Red Sox beat writer, but he covers the Woo Sox now. And at Polar Park, they named the press box after him. And then every once in a while, Bill and I have breakfast at this cool diner in Whitensville, Massachusetts. You got to look it up. It's called Peg's Diner. No credit cards. I'm not lying when I say this. Our breakfast will be about 11. I think I know the total. If we get the same thing as we usually do, our breakfast will be about 11:26. It's incredible. It's a great spot. Mass has all kinds of cool little places. Cool place last night in Sacramento at Sutter Field, home of the A's. The Red Sox did a great thing. I think it was the Red Sox or Nesson. No, I know what it was. WEEI, Sox Booth, had the broadcasters Will Fleming and Mike Monaco for this series. It said Red Sox at Oakland, and Oakland was crossed out. But what I liked last night, and by the way, Luis Morales is really good. He is the number 4 prospect in the A's system, one of their top pitching prospects. They have DeVries, and then 3 in a row are all pitchers. He began the year at Double-A. Young, only his 3rd year of pro baseball, Double-A. Then it was interesting because in Vegas, he was mainly a reliever and then gets called up to the A's. And his stuff is good. I mean, he throws 98. He's in the zone a lot. Last night, he didn't have a lot of movement, but he comes up to the big leagues, and he shoved against Seattle. He won there, shut out the Tigers at home on 2 hits, was good at St. Louis, but the Red Sox got to him last night because he was in the zone a lot. He was throwing hard. His stuff was pretty good. It kind of reminded me of Crochet's last outing. Anytime he lived in the zone, even when he tried to go away, like the Sogard hit, even Bregman, Story was all over his fastball, but he just couldn't get a lot of north to south movement. He was trying to go more east to west, and the Red Sox had a good game plan against him. They gave up. They got 7 hits, 5 runs, got him out, had his worst major league outing, gave him his first loss. That was a good pitcher you faced in game one. I'd rather have that starter in game one against Crochet because he can match that. And he was fantastic. And what I really loved last night was staying in the fastball family. 52 of 101 pitches were fastballs. The sinker is a fastball. And he got, on a sinker, 83% strikes. Fastball, 76% strikes. Crochet gave a lot of credit to Connor Wong for getting him back. And they have really a very interesting relationship. And talked about some mechanical things. But I thought him going back, even the cutter. The cutter he struggled with a bit against the Guardians. But the fastball and the sinker were good. His changeup was not bad either. He didn't throw many of them. He threw 3 of them. His sweeper was good. That's where he gets the most swings and misses. But I like the fastball, sinker, his velo. This is why I know a lot of people are freaked out about Crochet. I would be if the stuff was not good. I mean, this is the big leagues. I think sometimes we forget. You can't just look at the teams you play and look at batting average and all that. Like Cleveland had horrific stats against lefties, but he was in the zone a lot, and they took advantage of that. But I didn't think that had anything to do with him wearing down because his stuff is still pretty good. And the velocity, that's the stuff that would be alarming on September 8th. He's still 95 to 96 with a sinker, 95 to 97 with his fastball. These are the readings I got. He topped out at 98 with a sinker, 97 with his fastball. So that's all good, and he was terrific. Nothing to me carries over. I don't look at anything. He had struggles during the season. We forget that. I think what we try to do is we try to build narratives a lot. He's uncharted territory. Oh, here we go. He's never pitched this much before. Okay. So then what was the reason that he walked 4 on April 8th and 5 on April 24th? Gave up 4 runs. There were outings early in the year where he wasn't sharp. Yeah, and he wasn't completely sharp. I know in that game at Baltimore, but he went 6 innings and gave up 2 runs. Like, he had an unbelievable July. He had 1 bad game in August at Houston. And he had a bad game against Cleveland. But it doesn't stop. A lot of you are trying to make narrative. Don't do that. Like, just because it's going to drive you nuts. Don't look at. You can't quantify that. I don't know. You know what I mean? We can't just say just because he hasn't pitched this many innings before that he's going to break down. We don't know that. They're all different. And they have a plan for him. They scaled him back a few times. They gave him extra days rest. But it's just not worth worrying about. Because you knew he was going to be at this situation anyways. And you need him to win. So, watching him last night, I don't think him going over his innings mattered one bit. Red Sox had a great offensive night. Multiple hit games for Duran. Loved his swing on that 2-seamer away. It was a pretty good pitch. 37 doubles. Bregman 2 hits. I mean, Trevor Story. 24 homers, the first inning home run. He is now knocked in 90, and he's at 263. I think I talked about this before. If he gets to 270, 25 homers, 100 RBIs, and 30 steals, MVP-like season for the Red Sox, team MVP. But it's hard for me. This is a weird argument because when you talk about, like, Crochet really feels like the team MVP only because he's a top 3 pitcher in the game. You can't find that. I'm not saying that if you didn't have Trevor Story, you wouldn't miss him, but you could replace him easier than you could Crochet. Think about it. If you didn't trade for Crochet and Houck stayed your number one, or he wouldn't be your number one, but he would have been the replacement, or someone would have been. Where if you lost Trevor Story, you might have went out, moved Rafaela to short, maybe went out and got an outfielder. You can get through that, but you can't get through not having this guy. He's 15-5, and you have 15 games over 500. Just the way this team is constructed this year, pitching is at times dominated, which is why you're where you're at. If you were built reverse, you'd probably be 65-80 if you were near the top of the league in hitting and at the bottom in pitching, especially this year, because there's a lot of good pitching going on. But just an amazing bounce back and a comeback player of the year candidate story. Yoshida had 2 hits, had good at-bats. Narvaez had 2 more hits. Sogard had a big RBI hit as well. And the Red Sox got their groove back. Now let's see if they can find a way to win one of the next 2. Certainly not easy. We know that. Got Dustin May tonight. Turn the page on what he's done before. If he goes out and executes, he's got the stuff. If he gives you 5 innings, 2 runs, you'll take that. You saved your bullpen last night by blowing out the A's. And Jeffrey Springs, who's been pretty good, 10-10, 4.13 ERA. Not dominant. But we've seen him in the past. He had a really good June ERA of sub-3. He struggled in April. And, he's had some of those games that have not been good. But pitched well against Seattle, Texas, Washington. Gave up just 1 run. Actually is beat up on Seattle, Houston, Toronto, Atlanta. His July, he was 4-1. He beat Atlanta, Toronto, Houston, and Seattle. He's left-handed. We all know how those guys can be sometimes. So it's never easy. It's the big leagues. Right? This isn't minor league baseball or high school. Every guy that's up there on any night is tough. That's just how it is. Romy Gonzalez. Unbelievable season. For what you asked of him. Maybe some guys are underperforming this year. At times offensively, it's going to happen. But you talk about a major, major boost. 83 games, 268 in the at-bats. He has an 11-game hitting streak, 306. He hit 266 last year in 89 games, but he has 8 homers, 46 RBIs. And for him to get 50 RBIs as a part-time player would be remarkable. I get some people that sent me messages saying the more he plays, the worse he gets. That has not really been the case because he's been pretty consistent. If you look at his day by day, he was 11 for 40 in March and April. In May, he didn't play much. He was 5 for 12. Had some injuries. 300 in June. He hit 278 in July. He hit 289 in August, and he's hitting 423 in September. He's pretty much been consistent. But what an unbelievable addition. And now you got another injury in Ref Snyder. So Ref Snyder's out. But just, I'm blown away at what he's done. And he hit 5th last night. I think more than ever, the one thing that I think people are underestimating with this team is they've had a ton of injuries, which we know. They've had a lot of moving parts. I don't think in years past this team would be competitive with the same amount of injuries. I don't think they were built for it before. They didn't have a lot of these big league guys that were ready. Like I know, you don't have to love Nick Sogard or Nate Eaton, but those guys have been able to go up and be serviceable, or having the bench guys. and deeper pitching. You know, you look at last year. In the year before, I thought as soon as they had any little adversity, any little struggles, they really didn't have answers. They did not have a deep pitching staff last year. That was a big reason you struggled down the stretch, and at the trade deadline, you couldn't get anybody. I mean, you got Paxton, and he got hurt. Who knows what would have happened? Maybe you win 3 or 4 more games, and you end up 85 and 77 instead of being 500. But you didn't have guys, I think, ready to trade. You just had Anthony and Meyer, which everyone wanted. Where this year you had maybe a little bit more to trade, but still not to the point, I think, where you could have made a huge deal because you gave up a bunch of those guys to get Crochet, which was worth it. Carlos Narvaez. You know, I think for the position, it's very grueling and very demanding. I didn't think he was going to hit around 300 all year, right? He had an unbelievable May, put him at 285. But I just kind of felt like, okay, it's his first year. He's going to hit a wall. And he did. He did. He had a sub 200 July. He had a 173 August. But I like how he's kind of responded late in the year. Young guy. Catching is a grind. I think Wong being better, giving him more time off helped. And he's now hit safely in 8 of his last 9. And you just step back right now and look at his season. Would you have taken this season from him right now? Like back in spring training, because we didn't know he was going to end up being the everyday catcher. If I told you he'd hit 252 with 13 homers, 44 RBIs, and 24 doubles, I think you'd probably take that, right? So I think you have some really good stories. I just like how he handles the pitching staff. He caught Crochet last night, which is rare. But I like how guys are responding here late in the year. And these are tough games. It's just, I'm telling you, this is the end of the year. You can see that light at the end of the tunnel. It's a lot of road trips. You're playing teams that, you know, I don't want to say, I'm not going to say bad because Arizona's pretty good. They're not bad. And right around 500. They lost again last night. Sacramento, they have a good lineup. Their pitching has not been great. That's a good lineup. Langoliers, Rooker, Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, Soderstrom. They're a pretty good lineup. At times they're pitching, and they've had some slumps, but the A's are near the top of the league in batting average. Yep. They're tied with the Red Sox for the 3rd best batting average in the American League and tied for 4th. You know, believe it or not, this is what's crazy. The Red Sox are tied for 4th in batting average. I would have never guessed that, would you? You could probably tell me that. And they are tied for 4th in the big leagues in runs scored with the Diamondbacks. It's the Yankees, Brewers, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Cubs. So you have the Diamondbacks in there. But the pitching has been bad for the Athletics. They are near the bottom, 27th in baseball, and the 2nd worst in the American League. But that's a good lineup. That's why these next 2 games are big. You got to somehow piece it together with Dustin May tonight. I'd take 5. I'd even take 3 runs, 5 and 3. I know that's not great, but I'd take it and hope this is where your offense has got to step up. And we'll see about tomorrow. I think it's going to be Connolly early. It will not be the Red Sox have TBA. They have not made the announcement. I think it will depend on how tonight goes. Possibly. I don't know. But I doubt it because they're in Sacramento. So this is weird. Back in the day, I don't know if they do this anymore. But back in the day, guys would be like if Pawtucket was home and the Red Sox were home, they would have guys go to the hotel the night before just in case. Like guys would not be around. I don't see that as much anymore. It used to happen a lot. But obviously, Connolly early, if he were to start, he's already there in Sacramento. But he might not be with the team because that would let it out of the bag. So if he ends up pitching tomorrow, he didn't get there that day. He's probably been there, but it's just hung out in the hotel, I guess, or somewhere else. But because of where they're playing, unless he's in Arizona and he's going to fly there, I don't know, or he's somewhere else and going to. But they do hide guys, so we'll see. What you don't want tonight is a blow-up game. And maybe early would be activated tonight because Tolley's getting skipped. And if May is not effective, you don't want to have like 3 or 4 guys out of that bullpen. So we'll see what happens if they have any roster moves before the game, which they very well could. All right, let's get to your comments from Monday's show, which was terrific, your comments, at Chad Hamilton-T3M. What I love about Core is that he lets his players be themselves and trust the process. He has great instincts. Yes, Terry Francona was not a good manager on paper with the Phillies, right? Couldn't win. That's what everyone said when they hired him. Kurt Schilling went to bat for him and said, this guy's fantastic with the guys. Managerial style was no different with the Red Sox than it was with the Phillies. Better team, better players. A lot of you get hung up on the X's and O's and the moves. Not every move he makes is going to work. And it's okay. Like I've said this, you can blame the players. I know we don't do that anymore. But when they don't execute, you can say that they didn't execute. It doesn't have to be the manager. And the way that he cultivates them, just watch that documentary when he took Bayo aside. Like, he's a terrific communicator. And he just knows how to, because he played. There's a lot of value to that. I know a lot of you don't think it is because you can't see it. You just look at, but trust me, Duran loves him. A lot of the guys love playing for him. That means a lot. At Carlos Tennyson-X8K. Went to the Woo Sox game Sunday for a doubleheader. I was able to bring my 2 young daughters. They got game balls. Polar Park is actually a great ballpark. Awesome, Carlos. I'm glad you had a great time. It is. It's fantastic. We have one more series left. I'm going to be there all 6 games in a couple weeks. At Steven Rosiak 8002. And Mike, in your opinion, do you think Connolly early is ready to be called up? Keep up the great work. Thanks, Steven. You never know. I think what I do like about him is fastball command. He has a good fastball. If you don't have that, you have no chance in the big leagues. No chance. Those guys are just eliminated. I think he does a good job pitching up with his fastball. He really worked over Spencer Jones a lot. So the fastball looks good. Bright lights. Well, actually in Sacramento, it's a minor league park. They're not as bright. But we'll see. At DBD Mac, any concerns on Peyton Tolios hoping for a mainstay in the rotation? 1 start was not good. I'm not panicking after 1 start. No. Stuff's elite. Had a bad outing. First road trip. First year professionally. No. All of you were so worried after 1 start. Why? Brian Bayo's first professional year. He was in the GCL. Lucas Giolito was in the GCL. Crochet was a big league reliever. Walker Buehler was in rookie ball. They were all in rookie ball. He's in the big leagues. Think about what they asked him to do. Hey, we're in a pennant race. It's Friday night at Fenway. You got the ball. Okay, no problem. That he dominated. Yeah, he struggled against Arizona. Better lineup. He'll learn from it. But think about where he is in his first professional season. He has a chance to be Crochet. He does. I think they're very similar. and we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for Tolley, and I'm not worried. Man, if he gets a start against the Yankees this weekend, oh, it's going to be awesome. All right, thank you for watching. Before you step out, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Red Sox at it tonight. Dustin May, Jeffrey Springs. We'll talk all about it on Wednesday. Go Sox.